Hi guys, welcome back to Homegirl Handbook. As you can see, I have a guest here with me today. So normally I'm excited, but I'm like super excited today. So let's get right into what we're talking about today. All right, first, before I forget, like, share, comment with everybody you know, all your friends, everything like that. And then our special guest, I'll have her information up there as well, so you can share her information and check out her YouTube channel and her podcast as well, okay? All right, so based off the last episode that we had, I received a lot of questions and people were asking about like saving money. How do I go about that? How do I prepare? How do I plan to do that for 2023 so that they can purchase a home? So it leaves us with this question. How do I know if I can afford a house? That was everybody's question. How do I know? How do I prepare myself money-wise, all of that stuff? We're going to get into that today. Hi guys. Welcome to... I'm so ready for this. Hey, so ready for this cover. Vanna White down here somewhere where you guys can like, share, okay, all right, so we have Miss Tionna Hicks here, and she is the founder of The Honest Plan. She is a financial educator guru, I like to call her. She has her own podcast, and she speaks all about money, everybody's favorite subject. She is like the go-to person for that. So I'm gonna let her introduce herself, and then we're gonna get into the questions.
Yes. Hello, homegirls. I don't know, what do you call your community? What's your name?
Homegirls.
Homegirls. Hello, homegirls. Super excited to be here. So thank you for extending the invitation, Dee. So yes, my name is Tionna Hicks. I am the founder of The Honest Plan. I have been on this journey of figuring things out with my money and entrepreneurship for about 3.5 years now. I like to tell people that my journey started when I was 16. That's when I got my first job. That's when I started like the living paycheck to paycheck, living above my means. And then I turned 22, 23 right out of college. And I realized like, okay, this can't work anymore. Like this, I can't keep robbing Peter to pay Paul. I can't keep relying on family members to pay rent, to pay cell phone bills. And so I'm like, something has to change. Right. So I just kind of started the journey on my own. I just started documenting like things that I was doing to get out of debt, things that I was doing to save. I realized that a lot of people were asking me questions about it. And I also realized it was something that I like to do. So while I was doing this, I also was getting licensed at my job. So I became a licensed financial advisor. So I was having money conversations with people, and I was just like, okay, my job is teaching me these things. How can I implement them into my life? Right. So while I was implementing them in my life, I then started to teach other people about it. And I'm like, you know what? I think this is my zone. I think I like this here. Yeah, y'all see how God will work. He'll turn something that I guess once caused you a lot of stress to now be the same thing that's adding joy to your life and just a way that you can give back and help other people. So that is a little bit about me. Super excited to be here.
That's a word.
Yeah, that's a word.
That's a whole
Don't
word.
Take a mess and make it a masterpiece.
Right. Whatever your hardest area, normally that's how you're supposed to bless other people. So that's amazing. Now y'all see why I had to have her on the show. So let's get into the first question. Question number 1. Of course, we're dealing with homeowners here. Tionna is a homeowner. How was that experience?
Yes. So we built our house. And we built it in 2020. And I think the shutdown happened in late February, was it?
Yeah.
Late February.
March, yeah.
And we picked our land the second week of March. So it was like literally right in the middle of it. It was right before like we heard about, okay, the wood shortage and all of those things. So we were like actively going through it. Right. And, dates getting pushed back. Because at first I think they were like, okay, it should be done in like 4 months. And I think it ended up taking just a little bit longer, maybe like 6 months or so. Because we didn't move in until... this week will be our second anniversary.
Really?
Yeah, October 31st. We moved in on Halloween.
On Halloween.
I was so sad.
My first house, I moved in on Halloween too. Yes.
I was so sad because I wanted to give out like candy to the kids, but we were like, our house is a mess. They kept ringing the doorbell, but we were just trying to like unload the truck. So I'm like, listen, the light is on because we're moving in, not because I have candy.
The same. My daughter was so upset we couldn't go trick or treating, and she brings it up every Halloween.
Oh my God! So it's about to be 2 years. I literally can't even believe it. No, it doesn't. My goodness, it doesn't. So we were actively going through all of that. Like, what is this supposed to look like? What in the world is COVID? What do y'all mean? Like, you have to cut back how many people are on site. So it's slowing down the process. And I felt like we had a realtor, lover.
Needed.
Yeah, but it's also needed to find one that really supports you and is active. I felt like, because she was going through a lot of like life changes too. She was moving. I think she was about to get engaged. She had a lot of clients. Yes. And we were like probably her youngest one. So she was like,
they don't know.
Get the back burner. Right? Yeah. You're in the back burner. So sometimes I feel like we went through it on our own, and she just kind of showed up on the day of and said,
okay. Yeah. That's why it's important. That's why it's important to find you a good realtor. Find someone you connect with, and don't sign anything until you're sure that that's who you want to work with, because they should know exactly what it is that you're looking for so they can best suit you. So definitely, if you know somebody or if you're related to somebody or something like that, definitely use them as a realtor. If you don't know anybody, I got you. I can be family at that point.
Okay.
So
yes. Because you need it. Seriously, someone that's going to call and check in on you. Yes. And especially like, I feel like the building process, I've never, bought a home that's already built, but I felt like that period was so long. It's a 6-month like period. A lot of doubt creeps in. You're second guessing, like, can I do this? And like a lot of things can happen in that 6 months that aren't certain on top of a pandemic that you know nothing about. So I'm like, I felt like we needed just a tad bit more support than we actually were given. So yeah, like you said, you just have to make sure you're finding the person that's knowledgeable and can provide the support that you need.
So with that whole thing, or just in general, do you think how did you prepare your finances with everything kind of going on? If the lumber prices are going up and so on and so forth, then did you ever have doubts about money, or how did you kind of prepare yourself for that? Because people, they're having that now with interest rates going up, not necessarily material costs, but just interest rates going up. So they're like, oh my gosh, this is too much. And the same anxiety kind of creeps in there. Yeah.
So I had a lot of times where I'm like, ooh, I don't know. Because it started off with them saying, so when you build a house from the ground up, the house or the amount that they quote you for in the beginning is not really the out the door price, because then you have to go to the design center and they show you all the bells and whistles. They show you the finest of the finest. My God. And you're like, in that moment, you're like forgetting that this doesn't have to be my forever home.
No, absolutely.
Because they're trying to make you believe that it's going to be your forever home. So they're like, oh, well, if you're going to do it, you have to go all out. Like, you have to have, the granite, the countertop and the hardwood floors throughout. And it was just so much stuff. And then I was just looking at the cost and I'm like, okay, so now we're how much over the loan? Okay, what is this? How can we rationalize this? And the builder, the design center actually was supposed to make us lock everything in that day. They allowed me to take it home, because I think our appointment was on a Friday. They allowed me to take my packet home with all the selections and the price and stuff and call them back on Monday with a definite answer, which I really, really appreciated, because I'm a person, I like to plan. I like to figure out how can I make this work? I like to figure out okay, am I doing too much? Is this going to put me way over budget, and then this house is going to be more so a curse than a blessing. I'm going to be house poor. And so they allowed me to think on it, and I came back and I was like, okay, these are maybe some things that might be cheaper for the builder to do. Okay, and these are the things that I can do on my own afterwards. And I can just pace myself. So what really helped me is during the pandemic, we got influx of money.
Yeah.
My job was giving
Right.
us like bonuses for, oh, thanks for sticking around. Like, thanks for, being a valuable employee. So here's a bonus.
Yeah.
Whereas most people will see this as, okay, this is like free money for me. Let me take a trip or let me buy some nice things. I was like, no, like I know my priority is making sure that my finances stay in order and closing on this house. So instead of using that money for careless things, I was putting all, like anything extra, I was putting it towards my house. And I would tell people, like, if you feel like you're already tight with money right now, what are you doing with the extra? Like, figure out how to either work with the extra or cut back somehow, some way. So we moved out of our apartment, actually moved in with my mother-in-law.
Yeah, I remember that.
For 6 months. So listen, it's some sacrifices.
6 months. Yes.
6 months of, and I'm like, what is this?
Thanksgiving.
It was a humbling experience.
I'm sure.
It was very humbling.
But I'm sure you're grateful that you were able to do that and save that money to do that.
Because instead of paying for rent, I was putting that money in my check. So I was like, no, we don't have an extra $1,200 a month. We have $1,200 to save each month, not to spend. So we would give her, my mother-in-law, we would like give her like half of her rent or something like that, or half of her mortgage for allowing us to stay with her. But that was still a great discount for us. Like nowhere near what we were spending.
Because most people would have taken that money and, like you said, they would have been like, I have extra $1,200 versus working on the same budget they normally are working on and don't even think about that $1,200. Just save it, because at the end it's going to end up resulting in what you're trying to work towards. So
because there's a lot more that comes with buying a house than just the house part, like the house cost. Like you want to get in there, you want to furnish it. Like you don't have to have all the best furniture, but you want to buy you some stuff.
So that gets to the
sitting on the floor. Sitting on the floor in a brand new house.
On the floor, they can't invite nobody over. No couch, no mattress on the floor. That's not
That's not what we want.
So that leads me to the next question. What like fees or like any type of thing that you had to purchase that you didn't really know about, but you wish like someone told you about?
So the first thing when you're buying a new construction house that we had to pay for was what is it, like to secure your lot?
Oh, the deposit or like earnest money?
Yes. So we had to put that down. That was $2,000 to even start your contract. That was $2,000. And they're like, we need it now. Because there's a lot of people looking at this land. And they were like, do you have a check? I'm like, no, we don't have a check. And they were like, okay, or a money order. And we were looking at the house or the land on a Saturday. So when I tell you, I was like, please, like, don't let anybody take it. We have 2 days, like, wait until the bank opens on Monday. So we went on Monday morning. Like, I went Monday morning, went to the bank and went straight to, the builder to put down our deposit earnest money. So that was something that we had to pay for. You have to pay for, what is it called? The appraisal. That was $500. That threw me for a loop. I did not know that. Like our loan company called us and they're like, hey, Tionna, so we're scheduling your appraisal. I'm like, okay, great. They're going to come out this day, this time. I'm like, okay, perfect. And they're just lingering on the phone. I'm like, what else do you need from me? They're like, so that'll be like $500. $500.
That's the average cost of them, because they want to make sure.
For it?
Sometimes they'll include it in your closing costs, but you still eventually have to pay for it. But it's just to secure them that your house is worth what it's worth before they give it a loan. That.
And that was at the end, so that's like you're starting to buy your washer and dryer. We bought our bed, a couch, and stuff like that. And then on top of that, you're gonna tell me I need you. Girl, didn't like that. Didn't appreciate
They have to, but you have to wait until the house is finished so they can see really what it's worth. They can't give it to you when it's just this. But your agent
should have gave me a seat. She didn't tell me.
It's important to having an agent. She's supposed to let you know. These are the things that's going to be expected, like an inspection or appraisal, different things like that, or builder deposit that you have to put down. Normally, it's like a percentage of the house. Certain ones have less than that now, but it just depends on who you're going to. But knowing that up front would be good. Also, they do money orders as well, just in case, because like now it might have not lasted until Monday. Friday.
Yeah.
But you can go get a money order anytime,
Yeah.
you know, and get that.
Okay,
deposit
okay.
put down. So
Yeah.
that's why they give that alternative of money order.
Yeah.
Because you can go to Food Lion or Walmart to get that.
Girl, I don't know why we didn't do that. But I definitely waited until the bank opened on Monday.
For 2
Yeah, for 2 days. For 2 days. Yes, I did. And she didn't even tell me. I don't know why they didn't tell us, but we went to St. Louis and did it that way.
Well, it was good. You got the
We
house,
got the house, so everything worked out. Everything worked out. What else did we have to pay? And then, of course, closing costs. And I don't know if I'm saying it right because the loan that we were able to get, it was 100%.
Mm-hmm.
So it covered everything, but I still had something at the end that I needed to pay. It was like $8,000. Like $8,000 to $10,000.
It was like a down payment then.
Okay, so
So it was obviously it wasn't 100%.
So maybe I had to pay for closing costs and they covered the down payment.
Maybe, or did you have a difference between your loan and what you built your house for? Remember you were talking about all the add-ons that you had. It could have been for the add-ons.
It could have been a difference.
Yeah, that was probably.
So it was about $10,000, like $8,000 to $10,000 that we had to wire them the day of.
Yeah, so they probably did pay 100% of the loan, and then whatever you guys added on was the extra money you had to put down at the end. So yeah,
and we didn't even get all the bells and whistles.
You didn't, no. But you look at those things, and normally they send you that stuff like before you're closing. That way you can kind of look through, like, hey, wait a second.
Yeah,
what's going on here?
It's good to. It's a little pricey, but we're there now.
Saving your money. Yeah. So, what's the best way to budget for this whole purchase?
Yeah,
buying a house. What do you suggest?
Yeah. So. And I like to just say that a lot of people hear the word budget and they're like, oh my gosh, she's going to tell me I can't do this. I can't do, like they think of it as a restriction. Mm-hmm. But I like to tell people that it's just a game plan. It's a game plan. It's telling your money where you want it to go so you don't have to worry about where it went. So you don't have to worry about next year at this time. So if we're saving for a house in 2023, you don't have to worry about come April, you're like, okay, where did my money go? Like, I know that this was a priority and now I'm meeting with the realtors, I'm doing all these things and I don't have it. So it's best to like just start early. It's to start before you even actually need it. Yes. And it's starting with the small things. So just figuring out, okay, how much money do I have coming in? How much money do I have going out? Not a ballpark, but the exact number down to the cents. And get like crystal clear with your money. I like to tell people to like get elementary with it. Like print out maybe 2 to 3 months of bank statements and highlight, okay, this is how many times I see bills come up. This is how many times I see splurging and eating out or toiletries and these type of things so that you can actually see like, okay, these are my areas of opportunity. Like you can't say that you don't have enough money to save if every single day you're eating out. Yeah, like you can, but you made it. You made it. But for people that feel like they're tight, like they just don't have it. Right. Figure out where your money's going. It may be an area of opportunity where, okay, instead of me eating out 5 days a week, I'm just going to cut back and just do 3. And I can meal prep for the other 4. I know it's uncomfortable. I know it's a sacrifice, but you have to sacrifice for the things that you love, the things that you want. Yeah. So if you feel uncomfortable being in an apartment where you feel like you're paying just as much as a mortgage, you looking at it, you're like, oh my gosh, I don't even have enough space. Right. That's where the sacrifice comes in. Yeah. So figuring out where your money is going. If it still looks like it's tight, if you're still like, listen, Tionna, I've done it. I've looked at where my money's going and I'm stewarding over my money the right way. So then that means it might be an issue that you need more money coming in. Yeah. So then that might look like taking up like a little, part-time, a side gig, creating your own business. And I know some people on the internet word like creating your own business as something that will take off fast, or like you're just going to instantly start making money. That's just not how it works. So I like to tell people a part-time or a side gig because that's easier while you're still maybe building something on the side. But that'll just kind of make sure that you're having something coming in and just save all of that. Save everything that's coming in from your part-time. Like if you have enough to make ends meet on your full-time job, everything that comes in from your part-time, save it. Yeah. Just save it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's definitely extra. And it goes back to the point that you said before of like, you're thinking, I have these extra funds to do this. Don't even think about it.
Yeah,
because I was that way. Like, if I find myself thinking about, well, I still have this, and you will spend it on the craziest thing, non-needed thing. And it's like, dang, I could have done this. You know, later on, once you need it, like,
well, see, a good way to make sure that you're not going to do that is go ahead and just set up a high yield savings account. Out of sight, out of mind, that's not directly linked to your personal account. So that, and just have it where your 9 to 5 or the company that you're working for automatically, before you can even see it, takes the money from your check and puts it into your high yield savings account. So you can go ahead and just save 10%. Save 10% of your paycheck and put it in a high yield savings account. And you're like, okay, this is the money that I'm saving for my deposit or my down payment and stuff like that. And anything that comes in extra that you don't actually really need and you want to put it into your high yield savings, put it there. Like I've had the same high yield savings account for maybe 3 years now.
Oh, wow.
I forget that I have it.
Yeah,
like it's just accumulating money. I forget that I have it. Why? Because I always check just my normal checking account. I don't ever like, oh, let me go to this app. And sometimes when I think about it, you know how the iPhone, like if you haven't clicked on the app in like 30 days, it'll kind of like, it'll like, it's not downloaded anymore. Like you have to re-download it. So many times I have to re-download the app because I just forget. And so it's just money just sitting there and just accumulating on its own. So maybe that's something, just a good way, a good hack to do. Like if you feel like, if it's in my account, I know I'm going to use it. Just go ahead and put it in a different account.
Yeah. So I'm going to definitely put a link in the box for that, for whatever one that you recommend people to have, because people really need that. Absolutely.
It's really
they definitely need that. So the next question was about money tips, but I think we kind of covered that. We've talked about a lot already, but I'm just thinking like, just summing up everything that you've said, it seems like everything just comes down to being a good manager and having a plan to what it is that you're trying to do. And I'm like, God loves someone that is a good manager over what he's given them. And that's the way to get more. So if you want a house like this, manage the apartment that you have now. You know what I'm saying? So that way you can get what you want. I know, what is it, Proverbs 10:22, where it's like, God, he blesses rich with no sorrow. I don't want to move into a brand new house and concerned about bills, concerned about, am I going to have enough for my appraisal, concerned about, I'm not going to have any furniture. You know what I'm saying? So just making sure that you take the necessary steps to be able to do that and you have everything in order. And that's the whole point of this whole entire episode. I just want people to understand what comes with purchasing a house. So it's not a surprise, just in case your realtor doesn't tell you or you just haven't looked it up, the research isn't there, or whatever the case may be. Just making sure that you understand that and you know that, okay? So I think that's all the time we have. Unfortunately.
Okay, I gotta say some more thing. Just one more thing. One more thing. I feel like when I get to go, it's hard for me to, like, even when I do speaking gigs, then like 30 minutes.
We gotta end it somewhere.
It's not enough. Not enough. One last thing. Because I feel like a lot of people might listen to this episode and they're like, okay, all I have to do is save.
Right.
Which is, it's not. That's not the only thing that you have to do. During this process, and so when I said that my journey started maybe 3.5 years ago, it also was a journey of getting my credit right too. And so being bad, like, it costs you to be bad with money. Like, you end up spending more money to be bad with money. And so while you're in this journey of saving, there might be something that you have to address with your credit, because you don't want to get to the place, like, finally feel like, okay, I have enough saved and stuff like that, but you've never like addressed your credit, and there might be things that you could have paid off or just something that you could have done to just made your application just look a little bit more, pleasing to the loan, I don't know what they call officer, the loan officers. So just make sure that you're looking at that too, like if they're. And you don't have to hire anyone so many people like to hire people to fix your credit. You don't. If you look at like Credit Karma and stuff, they'll give you the number to, like, if you have things in collections or something like that, they'll give you the number to these people. Call them, try to negotiate, like, hey, is there any way that I can give you a percentage of this and not pay the whole thing, and make sure that you get it in writing before you actually give them a percentage, and make sure that they're saying that, once you do this, we're going to erase this. It is still going to come up on, like, the loan officer is still going to be able to see it, but they're also going to see that it's paid off and that it's no longer in collections anymore. Yes. So that's really good. So just making sure that it's overall your entire financial wellness and not just budgeting and saving. Yeah. That's just a piece of it.
Yeah, absolutely. So you had to insert that little piece. Yeah. But no, that is true. That is true. You don't, like you said, you don't want to save up everything and have everything together, and then they need you to have a 620 and you have a 615. Yeah. It's very discouraging. You're like, I did all of this for nothing. You know what I'm saying? When it could have been a little $50 bill that you could have paid off that wouldn't have, it wouldn't have affected it as much if you would have just taken care of it ahead of time. So just planning, just overall planning to make sure you have everything you need and everything in place. But we want to close out. I will have all Tionna's information. Feel free to shout it out to all of us right now.
So I am the Honest Plan on everything. I'm the Honest Plan on TikTok, on YouTube, on Instagram, podcast, everything. Everything. I am the Honest Plan on everything. So I have a podcast. I feel like we talked about everything. What I just love to do is I love to help women of color, like, just really feel comfortable about speaking about money and provide, like, spaces like this where we can just come together and just really talk about it, because a lot of us didn't grow up talking about this stuff. So it's like, how do we expect to learn and be great money managers if this is something that we've learned in the school of hard knocks? We learn as we go. And so I just tried to do my best with providing safe spaces to do this. So that's what my entire platform is about. So feel free to come out and hang out with me on my side of the internet. But yeah, that is everything.
Perfect. So you guys know how to find me at Homegirl, Homegirl Handbook on Instagram, on Facebook, everything, all different platforms, podcasts, Apple Music, Spotify, everything.
All the things.
Everything. Feel free to reach out if you ever need a realtor. Be sure to email me or text me, call me, anything like that. And also, if you're out of state, that means you're not in North Carolina and you need a realtor as well, I can refer you to someone who will make sure that they take care of you in the way that I can, and I can help as best I can from that state. I thank you guys for joining us. I love you guys so much. Until next time, bye guys. Bye.